When you wish to manifest something, it is important to understand that your physical reality, your life experience, is a physical metaphor of your state of being. And your state of being is the result of your focus and Hi, it's Muzz iEvolv from iEvolv.com. Thank you for being here. And it's been a while. It's been about 5 weeks, I think, since I channeled, so I'm feeling a little bit rusty. Plus, it looks very beautiful and tranquil behind me here, but the conditions, I've been able to set it up so it looks, I'm surprised how good it looks. But I'm actually sitting backwards on a chair. Here's the chair here, against a jagged brick wall on the balcony of someone else's house, which is unoccupied at the moment. It's not ideal. And I'm in the flight path of the airport, and then there's some guys over here cutting metal. So it's getting, it could be a bit noisy, but I'm hoping this microphone does a good job of not allowing those other noises in. The How to Channel course is starting on Monday the 15th of May, which is just like a few days away. So if you would like to be a student in that course, but you haven't yet enrolled, well, you've only got a few days left before the price goes up. So it's still at 50% off, or like the VIP pricing, and there's going to be a price increase once this first initial period, this very first class has been fully enrolled, and then we commence the class. So these are your final days. If you really want to be a student, get in there and have a look. If you are curious, then you've only got a few days left to get in there and see what it's all about, and then decide if you want to join. So I've put a couple of links below here where you can go to the sales page and just basically read everything that's about in the course. There's a video there and then a whole bunch of text describing everything that's in the course, so then you can decide if it's something that you want to do or not. Please like, subscribe, share. My views are slowly decreasing ever since I was shadow banned, so I really depend on you guys to just show me some love through those other metrics, just so I can continue to exist on here. I think since January, what are we now? We're in the 5th month now, is that right? So since January, since like the first week of January, I've added like 8 subscribers over 5 months. I'm averaging, what is that? It's like less than 2 subscribers a month. Whereas prior to that, I was adding like 33 a month. So that's the result of YouTube deciding that something I said wasn't within what they want people to be hearing, the message they want people to be hearing. But I'm still here, I'm still doing it, I still love you guys, and I will continue regardless. So on to today's topic. Today's topic is visualization versus prayer. Which is better? I'm not sure, this may be a short one. I'm not sure how it's going to go because of basically the situation here. I'm uncomfortable and I'm a bit rusty, but we'll see how we go. Greetings and thank you for the question. Visualization versus prayer. Which is better? We have decided to channel on this today because as humanity moves more into the light as a majority sense, then creating, or rather manifesting, the reality you want is going to take on more of a unity conceptualization. And this is something that we're going to explain more in this session. And the hint we'll give you at this point is that the unity conceptualization leans towards prayer, and individualization leans more towards visualization. Now, the reason that we are saying that humanity is moving towards unity is something which we have mentioned many times, but let us just briefly touch on this again to create the context, especially for those in the audience that perhaps have not heard this concept before. The one is the ultimate group being, and so all other entities, all other forms of consciousness are all contained within this one being. And yet these entities, they have individual consciousness comprising this larger ultimate consciousness. So by definition, the one is a group being. And as it is a fractal existence, then all other entities within this ultimate group being, the one, are themselves group beings, including you who is watching this. You are comprised of many trillions of cells, and these cells have some form of consciousness, and accumulatively they contribute to the totality of the being which you are as you know yourself in this incarnation. So you are also by definition a group being, and even the cells themselves are comprised of molecules, comprised of atoms, which are again a form of consciousness. So even those are group beings, and then the atoms are comprised of subatomic particles, and so on and so on and so on. So as you are a group being, and it is all fractal in nature, then this means that you are a component of yet a larger group being. And that larger group being is the single being which all of you form together as your special unity, the humanity being. So, as humanity moves deeper into the light, these realizations and these ways of being will become more part of the constituency of your species, meaning that you will begin to behave more and more as a unity. And you can already see this is happening. So, in the political landscape on your globe, it is now becoming very apparent that your species is being dominated and subjugated by a very small and yet very powerful minority, the elites, the cabal of darkness. And as humanity awakens to this, which is the reality awakening, one of the 3 awakenings we wrote about in our book, which we co-authored with the channeler, called The 3 Awakenings That Save Humanity. This reality awakening, realizing that this is going on, it is reduced to, on the spiritual spectrum, a battle between the light and the dark, goodness and evil. So, as humanity awakens to this dynamic, humanity moves into the light. And as it moves into the light, it starts to form unities of its own. And this is why around the world you are now beginning to see those nations that are awakening to the idea that they are being ruled by a malevolent force, a unified malevolence, the cabal of darkness, or the proxies or the minions of this centralized authority. Then they are coming together to protest, to push back, to say we are not going to subject ourselves to this. And this is the beginnings of the formation of the humanity being. So, the point of all of this we have just said is that humanity is moving towards unity. And so, in terms of all forms of what it means to be humanity, to be a human being, is going to be of a greater relevance, a greater potency, a greater effect, if it begins to incorporate this idea of unity, because this is the future of your species. And eventually, humanity will ascend into the 4th density state. And once in the 4th density state, humanity will exist literally as the awakened humanity being. Your 5th dimension will be unity. It will be the capacity to self-identify as the individual, yes, I am me, but also self-identify as the group simultaneously. Not intellectually, but viscerally, you will feel that you are a component of the larger being, just as the cells of your body have their individual consciousness, and yet they also, as part of their self-awareness, are the body. And you will be a cell of the body of the humanity being. And as the awakening continues, you will realize that humanity being is a cell of the group being of the Earth, which is of the solar system, which is of the galaxy, which is of the One, the ultimate group being. So, now let's bring this back to the actual topic we are discussing today. The visualization versus prayer. So, when you wish to manifest something, it is important to understand that your physical reality, your life experience, is a physical metaphor of your state of being. And your state of being is the result of your focus and your emotional energy. So it's very important to have these two elements within this definition of your state of being. Because many would like to have, for example, more money in their lives. And so they're very focused on money. They're very consumed with this ongoing thoughts about money. However, the focus on money isn't sufficient to bring more money into your life. Because of course, what is the emotional state when there is the focus on the money? If there is focus on money, and yet the emotional state is worry, anxiety, and dread, then life will bring to you a physical metaphor of this. For example, you will receive some unexpected bill, and if you do not pay this bill, then something which you consider to be terrible will come to pass. Your car will be repossessed. You will be foreclosed on your mortgage and kicked out onto the street, and so on. And so the emotional state which will be consequential to this experience will be dread, worry, anxiety, a literal metaphor of your state of being proceeding. So you are just replicating, or life is bringing to you more of what you are being, your state of being. And this is the perfection of your reality. Because your purpose, because it is the divine purpose, is to know yourself to completion experientially. So, if you are going to know yourself, then you must have some mechanism which is reflecting back to you who you are being. Otherwise, how can you know yourself? In a vacuum, with no other context, there is no way to know yourself experientially. You can perhaps have an idea of yourself conceptually, but you cannot know yourself experientially. And this is the actual purpose that the One wished to achieve when it created the All. Because prior to that, it existed entirely as a concept, only one. So it knew I am, but it did not have any answer to the question, I am what? Because there was no context. There was no capacity for comparison, for differentiation, for one thing to say, I am not that. And therefore, that is the beginning experience. And I am bigger than that, I am smaller than that, I am faster than that, I'm slower than that. And so on, so on and so on. There is more experience and more knowing of oneself experientially. So, you have been blessed to be in a physical context where life is reflecting back to you your state of being through the physical metaphor which is your life. Now, many think that their lives are just random and that they are a victim of their life. But what would be the point of that design? If life is reflecting back to you something which is completely unrelated to who you have been and who you are being, then what purpose does it serve? It would be completely pointless. But of course, in the perfection of the design of the ultimate creator, it is perfectly aligned to let you know who you are through the vehicle of experience. Because when life reflects back to you a particular type of experience, then you, if you are awakened to this idea, then you can say, my life is presenting as the way it is right in this moment because of my state of being, because of my focus and my emotional energy. So, I'm going to use this information to adjust my trajectory so that I can become on a path which is more conducive to me arriving at the ultimate destination. And the ultimate destination, of course, is that you are love and light. You are an individuation of your Creator. So, visualization is a utilization of this mechanism of life being a metaphor of your state of being. So it relies particularly on this concept of focus. So if you wish to have a particular type of brand new car, if you focus on that car and you continue to look at pictures of that car and you imagine yourself driving that car, then this is a very potent way to bring that car into your life. But what has to be added to that, of course, is the emotional energy. So the emotional energy cannot be, I don't have it yet. Cannot be, I want it. Because life will reflect back to you a metaphor of your state of being. So if your emotional state is that I want it, then life will bring to you an experience of wanting, of it always being out of reach, that you're never quite attaining it, because this is what you are visualizing. So instead, when you have the focus of the car, the emotional state should be, I have it. I have the car. I'm driving the car. The car is mine. I already own that car. And now, this is conducive to a physical metaphor where you are the owner of that car. So, and this is how visualization should be done. And there is more to this, which we will touch on as we progress through this channeling. Now, prayer is really a very similar concept. So, when you pray to your Creator, pray to the One, pray to the ultimate Creator, the Prime Creator, to God, to receive what it is that you wish to receive. It is again reliant on this idea that the focus and the emotional energy are conducive to whatever conditions that you're praying for are literally in your life right now. And if you have done it in the way which we have described, then this is a very, again, powerful mechanism to bring what you wish into your life. Now, we will differentiate now between visualization and between prayer, and why we are saying to you that prayer is a more powerful mechanism to bring what it is you wish into your life. And you will see how it rides on this concept of unity. So, when you are visualizing, and so you're imagining that the car is coming into your life and that you own the car, you're driving the car, you are doing this to some extent as the individual, as the single unit in the sea of infinity, to bring to you this which you desire. And the power is within you for this to occur. Visualization is a powerful mechanism. But the idea is that you are the individual doing this. You are making it happen yourself. You are being powerful. You are manifesting into your experience through your belief, through your will, through your desire. Prayer, on the other hand, is calling upon a larger force than yourself. So when prayer is done to the ultimate Creator, to the One, to God, then you are literally calling upon the everything, the totality, the infinity. So rather than just being an individual speck within the sea of infinity, summoning what it is that you desire to your location, when you're visualizing, now that you are praying, you are calling upon the infinity to assist you, and done so with a recognition and acknowledgement that the infinity is a benevolent being. It is a being of love and abundance that wishes to provide for you all that you desire out of its love for you. And so now you are utilizing conceptually a much, much, much larger field of potential, field of energy, field of power. So the fundamentals are the same. However, the definition or the conceptualization of you, the individual, versus you as part of the ultimate being are very disparate in the sense of what is possible, in the sense of the power that is being wielded to make this happen. Because now you are being a component, a cell of the ultimate group being, of the infinite of all infinites. And this is utilizing so much more to bring into your life that which you manifest. And this is why we say that prayer is more powerful than visualization. Let us now just add some nuance. We'll add some details to this idea. Now that we've laid out the main premise which we wish to discuss in this channel, there are some other little side notes which we will add in to give you a greater clarity about this concept. You are a being of perception rather than a being of creation. Meaning that you perceive, you don't create. And so when we say perceive, we mean that you are manifesting into your life something which already existed. You didn't create it. All that exists, all that has existed, and all that will ever exist already exists within the matrix of infinite potential of your reality. So, you can think of it in this way. With the video game, a video character, when you are playing the game, may move in a particular way which has never been done before. In all the many billions and billions of times that game has been played, no one has ever moved in the way that you moved. Took a path through the game in the way that you went through the game. Defeated that particular enemy in a way which no one has ever done exactly the same as you. However, the way that you went through the game, the way that you defeated that enemy, the way that you did everything within that game was pre-coded into the game as potential. So even though you created something very unique, you did it within the context of a pre-existing potential. And so just as it is with the video game in this example, you are also experiencing your own life. So when the one created the all with a infinity of potentiality, all pre-existing, waiting to be utilized. So you are not creating the car, but rather you are manifesting the car into your perception. So it already exists somewhere. Now, even if we are not talking about something which is pre-existing, even if we are talking about some other concept or some other object which yet hasn't even been manufactured, if it comes into your life, it will have done so because you have manifested it into your life until it now is part of your perception. But you did not create it from non-existence. You instead manifested it into your perception. When something comes into your life, it is because you have a vibratory match with it. And if it is not in your life, then it's because you do not have a vibratory match with it. So the idea of using your focus and your emotional energy is to set a new vibration for yourself. And this new vibration will be compatible or conducive with that particular desire entering into your perception. Because now the energetic signature which you are broadcasting into your reality is a match with that particular item being in your reality. So it must appear, it must become part of your perceptible field. This is just the physics of your reality. It is unavoidable that it works this way. Now, when you look about your life, you can get a very clear idea about what your default vibration is on all aspects which you desire to put your attention on. So, the state of your health, the state of your weight, the state of your relationships, the state of your career, the state of your wealth. These are all individual components which can be isolated in terms of the vibration which has manifested it in the way that it presents. It is your default vibration in that field of definition. If you're just living your life doing the things that you normally do, and you're not doing any visualization, you're not doing any prayer to bring to you what it is that you desire, then all aspects of your life are just at their resting point, which is your unique and specific default vibration. So, if there is some aspect of your life that you do not like, that you wish was different, then it is because your default vibration in that particular field of definition manifests those conditions. And if you wish to change that particular facet of your life, then you must change your default vibration. Or you must at least work on your vibration very deliberately so you elevate yourself above that default vibration. Problem with doing it this way is that if you do very deliberate work on your focus and on your emotional energy such that you can bring to you a physical metaphor which is reflective of what you prefer, of what you desire, you must maintain this ongoing focus, ongoing deliberate focus and deliberate emotional energy so that this particular condition stays as it is in this new way in your life. Because the moment you take your foot off the gas, the moment that you just go, okay, all is good, then you will very slowly go back down to your default vibration. And this is why you hear the legend, the stories of lottery winners receiving many millions of dollars, and yet within a few years, they are back where they were, or in fact, actually poorer than where they were before they received that lottery win. It's because their default vibration is poverty. And when the money comes in, their default vibration very slowly chips away until the physical metaphor they are receiving through their life experience is an exact reflection of their default vibration on that particular field of definition. So, there are two ways you can do about this. You can decide to just be very deliberate and focused for the rest of your life on maintaining a vibratory signature which is conducive to you having all of these things in your life. And this is possible, and it is for those that are strong-willed and have a very strong desire to bring about new conditions in their life. And over time, if they can maintain these conditions, then their beliefs will change and their default vibration will increase. And even if they do take their foot off the gas, they'll never go back down to where they were. And the other way that this can be approached is to redefine your beliefs, because your default vibration grows from the garden bed of your beliefs. And your beliefs are on the basis of your life experiences, particularly those that you had when you were young. And so if you wanted to drill right down to a level where you can literally change who you are such that your default vibration, always which are meaningful, elevate, and then effortlessly your life begins to appear and reflect to you through the physical metaphor, something which is much more aligned with your desires, then you change your memories. Now, this doesn't mean that you necessarily have to lie to yourself about the things that occurred, although there is no rule saying that you cannot do that, because all possibilities coexist. So for every moment you had, there was an infinite number of pre-existing conditions, experiences which could have been had in that moment, because it is an infinite sea of potential. So when you went right and then in a disaster, there was the possibility that you could have gone left and ended in absolute blissful abundance. So this going left still exists. There is a version of you that went left in an alternative reality. And so within the greater expanded concept of you, that memory does exist. And so you can decide that you are going to put aside the memory you have of going right, and you are going to adopt the memory of going left. And so now you are literally reshaping your past. You are deciding what your past is on this basis. However, if you find that to be too much of a stretch, to literally just give yourself new memories, it is entirely possible, and there is nothing immoral or unethical than doing it this way. This is just utilizing the concept of your reality in a very broad-minded way. And it is a way which is done with a greater sense of freedom by more awakened and aware and advanced species. So the other way, if you do not want to reshape your memories entirely, is to just redefine your memories. So for example, when your mother said, "You can't have that because we're too poor," and that was the moment when you went, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that about us before, but now I know we're poor people. Got it." What you can do instead is go to that small version of yourself in that particular moment, that defining moment, and you can just redefine that memory. All things that happened the way that they did, but just redefine it. So you say to that small child, for example, because mother said that, it does not mean anything about you. It does not mean that you are poor. It does not mean that you are not capable of achieving great abundance and wealth in your life. It does not mean that at all. So don't take it on board as part of your self-definition, because it isn't part of your self-definition. You are a different human being with different potentials and with a different course through life. So it is not necessary or even wise for you to take on that information and integrate it into your self-identity, because you are a child of the ultimate creator, and the ultimate creator is the source of infinite abundance, and therefore infinite abundance is within you also. The final thing that we will add to this discussion is the concept of action. It is important that you take action. It's important that you be an active participant in your life, because you are the composite being. You are the individuation of your creator. You existed before this life, during this life, and after this life concludes. You are the infinite, immortal, invulnerable. This is the true definition of who you are. But you are having a temporary physical life, and during this period you are embedded or integrated into this flesh suit. So in a practical sense, you are this being also. So this makes you a composite being. And if you are a composite being, then you must, to be very proficient and advanced in the way that you live, be active in all aspects of who you are. So be very active in your infinite non-physical, but also be active in your temporary physical, meaning take action. if there is something that you desire in your life, then work on the infinite non-physical aspects of self through the power of visualization, through the power of prayer, using your emotionality in a very focused and deliberate way, because these are parts of your extra dimensionality, your infinite non-physical, but also utilize the physical aspect of who you are by taking action, by doing the things which are conducive to bringing your desires into your life. So, let us leave it there. If you wish to manifest your desires into your life as fast as you can, then we recommend that you regularly pray to the infinite being to utilize all of its power. And done so with a sense of gratitude that it is already part of your life, that it is already in your possession. And done so with an emotional energy which is very loving and grateful and appreciative of all that is on offer to you. Thank you, and we love you. Hey, thanks for making it to the end. I hope it wasn't too noisy. There was a few noisy parts during that. So, as always, I'm going to finish with a little story. And the story that I'm going to finish with this week is something that I said I was going to talk about and I totally forgot. And that was when I got turned back in Canada. That was kind of a disaster. It cost us so much money and all the organising and travelling and everything. To get turned away, it was like, oh my God, why did this happen to us? And then I realised why it happened, because that whole day, everything went wrong. It wasn't until like midnight that night that the airline told me I can't get on the plane. But the whole day, everything went wrong. Yeah, I'll give you one example. I went to the vet and I gave them all of my documentation for Bengo so I could get a form made out. And they never called me to say the form is ready, and instead they closed and they weren't open again until like 10 hours after my flight departs. So I didn't have the document I needed, and then I also didn't have any of my other documentation about all these vaccinations and stuff, because it was all inside this practice. So then I had to get on Facebook and just doing detective work, eventually trying to get hold of someone to meet me after hours at the place and give me back my documents. So they gave me back my documents, and they gave me back this form that I'd paid a lot of money to have completed, and they hadn't done it. And they said, oh, we haven't done it because we didn't have the right size paper in the printer. And I was like, oh, are you kidding me? And at that stage, there was no time left, because I was flying out at like 1 a.m. Monday morning, and it was now Saturday afternoon. So then I went around every single vet in that town, and every single vet said, no, 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 we won't do it. Every vet said no. And this went on, this same thematic experience went on and on and on and on and on and on. And then after a day of absolute exhaustion with everything going wrong, I got home and I called the airline, and then the airline says, you can't get on the plane because he's the wrong breed. And I was like, well, why has this happened? Yeah, because my life usually flows pretty well. Why is everything going sideways? I don't get it. Why am I manifesting this? And then it dawned on me, and I realized what's going on. My son and I, we pray. And particularly when we've got something big coming up, like we've got like this, this big odyssey of country hopping and all the rest of it, hoping everything goes well. And so we pray, we put our hands together over Bengo, and we just say, keep us all safe, keep us all healthy, make sure that we're all good. Please keep Bengo at ultimate health, because he's like 15 now. His breed is meant to be dead at 14, but he's 15, still running around with a smile on his face. And so, I give thanks and I say to him, please keep us all well and healthy and all the rest of it. And that flight that we got kicked off, he was going to ride in the cargo hold for 17 hours. And when they boarded him on the tarmac, it was going to be like sort of 3 degrees Celsius. So that was probably going to be physically quite harmful to him. And I had my concerns about doing this, but at the time it was the only way we could find to get to Asia. There was no other way. That's why we went all the way from Colombia to Mexico to Canada just to catch a plane, because that's obviously, that's expensive and it's a lot of hassle, but it was the only way we could find to get there. And then we didn't get on the plane, and then I was like going, why? And then I realized God, the one, Prime Creator, had answered my prayers, because I had said, please keep Bengo safe. Please make sure that whatever the conditions that we face are conditions that when Bengo comes out the other side, he's going to be healthy and happy. And then we couldn't get on that plane. And I realized if we had have got on that plane, it could have been quite bad for Bengo. Could have made him very ill, could have shortened his life, could have killed him, maybe. And so it wasn't like an undeserved tragedy. It was a literal answer to our prayers. And that's when I had peace. That's when I realized that God is good and all goes well. And that's what inspired me to do this channeling session today. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed that little story. And maybe, perhaps, if you have some things in your life, you're not really a prayer, because I haven't been a prayer. I really just started doing this. I've been a visualizer. I've been a visualizer for a long time, but I've never really been a prayer. And it was my son that got me into praying. His generation, Gen Z, are the most religious generation since like before the First World War. It's amazing. And so he has an interest in those kinds of things. And it was his suggestion, Dad, can we please pray? Because he has been praying anyway. And I'm not religious at all. I've never have been. But this is just something he started doing himself. And he sort of, Dad, can we do it? So I started doing it, and lo and behold, great things have started to happen. So that's why. Okay, thank you. I love you. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.